Hello, YouTubes! Okay, I'm going to say this quickly because I just recorded a 14-minute video and deleted it before I uploaded it. Dang it. Okay, quickly. Yesterday, started the day, got some breakfast, then grabbed a beer or two and went to the infinity pool they have at their apartment complex here. Then we went to a pewter smithing factory, which was actually really sweet. We had a guided tour with just our own guide, just the three of us, and they have some really cool designs that they do in their pewter, which was nice. And then at the end, we did like a little workshop that we paid for to make our own pewter dish. So they gave us like a two-dimensional flat disc that we hammered into a little dish. Stamped our name in it there. How's this guy? Jason, backwards. But yeah, very smooth, very lightweight, and soft material. But yeah, we actually really enjoyed that. Very weird activity to do, but it was cool. Afterwards, we came back and got our second massage, which at the same place, which wasn't as good as the first one, we all agreed, but was still pretty sweet. Then we had another escape room to book, so we went with Tim and Janelle to, met back up with them after they got out of work and grabbed a Indian bread heavy dinner, a lot of naan, roti, and one other style that I can't remember. Roti? What? Chapati, sorry. That was very good, but what was our bill on that? We all ate. Yeah, we all ate a ton of bread and like good dipping sauces, and all had drinks for 53 ringgit, which is about $12 for the five of us. Then we go to the escape room, and this one was so sweet. I'm going to go into a lot of detail describing it. It was very well put together. Like, they took a lot of time and whatnot making it, and it was different in other ones than other ones that we've done because really the more people you have, the better. You each get assigned a character role that it kind of has like a special ability. So Brett was a locksmith, which he was wearing like a name tag around his chest. We all were to identify our character roles, but his had some dry erase marker on it, and when we got to a clue that had a matching symbol, he could just erase that and it would give him like a combination to a lock. Tim was a oracle, which allowed him to view the clues, not the clues, but gave him like a little bit of an outline of what the clues would look like. So he had like a general sense of how many there were and what we should be looking out for. And he had 2 minutes to memorize all of that before we entered the room. And then no going back. I was a timekeeper, which they gave me like an actual time so we could keep track of how far we'd gone. And then at the end, if you have a timekeeper, you can use an extra 5 minutes. And then Brooke was a Gemini, which allows you to duplicate another character's role. So she did the same as me. And then also, if needed, you can sacrifice that extra 5 minutes and get a hint at any time if you want. So we had like an extra 10 minutes if we needed it, or 2 hints because we had 2 of them. And in addition, I don't know if I mentioned on the other one, but the 3 escape rooms we've done now here have all been 45 minutes, so they're a bit shorter. And then Janelle was a light seer or something. Basically gave her a flashlight, which would have been really tough if we did not have her. So we go in, and we are on kind of like an elevated platform. It's wood. It almost looks like there's like a bunch of numbers on it, like a hopscotch, but even more numbers. It's not like in a hopscotch thing shape. And then the 2 walls on one of the sides was curtains only, and then the rest was just wood walls. And he gives us the hint, all right, you're not going to need to go through the curtains, but you may need to reach through the curtains. So, like, immediately when he leaves, and the room's about 4 feet by 10 feet, so pretty small. Oh, and definitely should say, so Brett gets volunteered to be the brave person who gets handcuffed solo, closest to the door. And then after he gets handcuffed, they just handcuff the rest of us too. So I'm handcuffed to Brooke, which is handcuffed to something, and then Tim and Janelle are handcuffed together, which is handcuffed to something. So right when he leaves, we pull back the curtains, and there's like jail bars, and we are looking at 12 like movie theater style seats of marionette dolls, which is the theme of the escape room, looking at us like we're the performers. And they're on strings that are like connected to the ceiling, look very creepy. And one of the first things we need to do is get like this box open that's closest to Brett, and then once that's open, we can see the strings are anchored there, so he can start pulling them and finds 3 that will actually raise. So we pull them all at the same time, and 3 marionettes like lift up, so they're kind of floating there, and they all have the next clue on them. Eventually, we get to a place where we can open the door behind us, and Brett is the only one who's handcuffed chain. We're all like on a chain as well. It's not just handcuffed directly to the bars, but can go into this room, which is completely dark. So he walks through there, finds a light switch. He's like, I don't know, maybe like 14 feet or so away from us at this point, and finds a rope. So he pulls a rope, and a doll falls from the ceiling that was like on an elevated platform there, and it's like on a pulley system. So he pulls it all the way tight and then lets it all the way go, and it swings to me where I reach through the bars and can get a key in the doll's hand, and that gets us all out of the handcuffs. So that's the handcuff key. So then we all go to where he's at. This is a second room, and Brooke leads the charge on finding some puzzles. It's got like a wooden hand, like a mannequin hand, and then we've got some like diagrams on clear paper that are indicating, I don't know, they're shaped like humans. It's all very creepy, but basically we get to a point where we open a drawer, and there is a black doll holding a ring, and then on like maybe a 12 to 18 inch string of yarn, and then we are able to open a door to like a small like 4-foot cage, and then I go in there and see like a little bit of a diagram that makes it look like you need that black doll. You hold the string. The only way to do this is you hold this string and you move this black doll to somewhere where like a human hand couldn't fit through, and then you hook the ring on a switch and pull it up, and that allows us to escape through a trap door. But what it also does is trap me in the cage. So these guys go out through the trap door, and they like start walking into like a deeper and deeper, like as they go, foam pit, and then they get to a door which on the back of the handle is like a wooden stick, and I don't know if did the door open?
It did.
Okay.
The end?
Yeah. So the door opened at the end, but we weren't successful leaving me in the cage, so they had to bring the wooden stick back to me. I was able to reach through where I previously had lifted it with the doll and push that back down, and that let me out of the cage, and we all finished in 41 minutes, only had to use one hint, and it was super sweet. And then the Japanese store. So Janelle and Brooke had gone into like a Japanese dollar store that they were raving about. They're like, all right, after this escape room, you have to check it out. So we go down there and start at the beginning, and it's like kind of like dishes and stuff. So I start walking further into the store, and then about the same time, Brett and I look up, and he's getting smellier and smellier as we go deeper into the store. About the same time, Brett and I realized that there is like a burst pipe that is being attended to, and you can just see feces falling through this clear bag down to the floor from this like ceiling pipe. So we immediately left, and nobody bought anything. Not a 5-star store, in my opinion. Yeah, so that was that day. It was excellent. We are in our Malaysia for our last full day this morning. Here's the morning view of the city. Before we head to some neighboring nations with Tim and Janelle. On deck for today is we're going to start going to a Buddhist temple. Then we are going to get our feet nibbled on by fish. Then we are going to... we got a food tour from 11 o'clock to 3 o'clock, so we'll try a bunch of Malaysian and similar styled food. Coming back after that and going to grab a drink with Tim and Janelle to celebrate their spring break, which will have just started, and having a drink on a rooftop helicopter landing pad. Sounds pretty sweet. We'll check in later.